his attitude. But there may be people, individuals, who may not be able to get into school, pupils and teachers, and that's also true for nurses, doctors, office workers, radio presenters, whoever they may be. But that's on an individual case-by-case situation. The fact that somebody takes the unilateral decision to close the school because some people may skid on the ice, well, that can happen when you take your bins out. I also think it's a huge dereliction of duty on the part of the schools. This is not, if I may finish, this is not about somebody not opening their grocery shop or something else, which is important in itself. Schools are there to educate our children. This is not about being a babysitting service so that people can go to work, even though it is a massive hassle to have to marshal childcare. But this is about providing education for our children. And if you're going to take adopt the kind of situation where the attitude that, well, it might be very rainy, it might be very snowy,
that wouldn't influence my decision at all. I don't make a decision based on whether or not I'm going to get paid. That's ludicrous. And nor do I make a decision based on the fact that someone might just skid outside the school or something. I have to make a decision for the well-being of the rest of my staff, and I have to decide what I think is best for them. I might get it right, I might get it wrong. I might look out the window and think, actually, possibly we could have gone in. But I can't take a chance on it. I can't say to my staff, I want you to drive into school on roads that haven't been ploughed, haven't been gritted. Take a chance. And that member of staff who crashed, she didn't just skid, she was cut out of her car and had life-changing effect to her face and things. It isn't about this kind of willy-nilly, oh, I feel like a day off, so I'm going to close the school. And actually, we do toss and turn about it. I know one of my colleagues in one of the cluster schools who phoned the local authority yesterday and said, please make the decision for us, because we get this kind of slack from parents.
But why don't you have the conversations with the local authority through the year? Because even though we don't traditionally have white winters, although we have the last couple of years, anticipate that there may be difficult weather situations that may arise that could compromise the school being opened. And the other thing is that I have to say is that if everybody adopted the same position, anybody who had under their care and charge, as you do, a number of employees, be it a head teacher or a boss running a company, or the executive director of a hospital trust, you know, what would happen to the country? We would grind to the halt. As Jeremy said, there are very snowy Scandinavian countries and countries throughout the rest of the world that manage. I mean, Worcestershire is not in the Arctic Circle.
No, I agree with you, and I'm American. I come from a country where there is a great deal of snow every year, and I remember going to school in far worse conditions. However, in those countries, the network is prepared for it. I grew up with snow chains on my car, four-wheel drive. We don't have those kinds of... My staff don't have snow chains, they don't have four-wheel drive vehicles. So actually it is that you cannot compare Denmark and America.
So are all your staff staying in all day long today? Or will all your staff be at home because they can't get through their front door to go anywhere?
I have not got a clue what my staff are doing. I suspect most of them are at home. I cannot believe they're down the pub or at the cinema or something. No, I'm doing schoolwork here, and I suspect most of them will be.
Angela, there is another dimension to this, isn't there, which is the behaviour of children in snow, where they become more excited by what's going on. They need, in a sense, more control, and you've got fewer teachers.
Come on. Children are all about childhood, and if they can't get a little bit excited and excitable about chucking snowballs around, if I may, why not? I don't think for a minute that the fact that children may be rolling around in the snow should be a reason to close the school. So by the same token, if we have any kind of variation to our otherwise fairly dull and predictable weather, should children stay at home because they're being children?
What's about this for an argument that actually just the odd seizure where the schools aren't there and parents have to come off the treadmill and come home and look after them is great for mums and